Hi, SAS listeners. Welcome to another episode of Sexual Assault Survivor Stories, the SAS podcast. This is episode 150, which marks a significant milestone for this podcast, and this week's guest is equally monumental. While initially extremely hesitant to reach out to me about being on this show, Whitney Vergés is here to share her powerful story of being drugged and raped. But it's not just the assault itself that makes her experience so impactful. It's the circumstances surrounding it. Whitney's hesitation in joining us comes from the fear of judgment, particularly because of her background in the adult entertainment industry. Having worked as both a manager and stripper at a strip club, Whitney is the first sex industry worker to bravely share her experience of rape on this show. Unfortunately, victims and survivors from the sex industry often face severe stigma and victim blaming, making it incredibly rare for them to come forward. But after hearing the stories of other survivors on the Sexual Assault Survivor Stories podcast, Whitney decided to break that silence, shatter the shame, and tell her truth here. I'm deeply honored that she chose this platform to do so, and I believe you'll also be impressed that she's here when you hear her story. Here's Whitney. Hey, SAS listeners. Today, my guest is Whitney Vergés. Whitney, welcome to the studio. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for everything.
It's my pleasure. It's a privilege that you reached out to me. Just so my audience knows, you reached out to me, I believe it's on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So thank you, Whitney, for being here. I know this is not easy. The fact that you're actually here and being strong and courageous is commendable. Whitney, tell us about yourself, if you don't mind.
I was born in Bristol, Tennessee, and I moved to Louisville, Kentucky when I was 10 or 11. So I've been here 10 years, right? And no, I've grown up here. It's my home. I lived in North Carolina for a little bit. I have 2 children that are my world. I want to help make other women like me in this situation feel normal. Is that the right word? Normal.
Yeah, if there is a normal. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Sure.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Yeah. Whitney, you're here today to talk to us about your sexual assault experience. And so let's just start there. What are you able to tell us about your sexual assault experience?
It was super unexpected, like everybody, I'm sure. But it was when I was older in a different setting than I feel like a lot of people that speak out about it. I can't tell you much because I was drugged. I know everything that led up to it, about 37 seconds during, and everything after. And the after is the worst.
Yeah.
I had just left the father of my children. Not just left. I had just gotten comfortable in my life without him. After almost 14 years, I was running the club that I worked in. I feel like people are very judgy about that, and I don't like to say it. The gentleman's club that I worked in. I worked there from the time I was 18 till 27. I grew up there, really. And I got the opportunity to go back and run it, be the general manager and run it. That was a big thing for me. I wanted to make it a safe spot for the good girls. And I've done that. And I was very proud. So I've always been in therapy since I knew I wasn't not right, but I just wanted to be better, right? That's why people go to therapy. And when I left my kid's dad, I'd been in therapy a lot because it's very hard. And I just graduated from the every 2 weeks, we'll see you in 3 to 6 months. And I'm like, yes, great. I'm running the club. I'd given my kids this great, comfortable life. I had a really nice apartment right across the street from their schools. I made good money. I didn't work that many hours. And I was with them all the time because they sleep at night when I work and really living a privileged life. And I did it by myself. It's Halloween weekend, and I really stepped back and I did it. The adult industry is a very male-dominated world, which is wild to me. And here I am having this sanctuary club. It's busy. The girls are good, happy, safe. I bartended too. I bartended and ran it. So this regular came in that I knew. I didn't talk to him a lot, but I knew because he came in and sat with the girls, talked to them, and he was friendly. It was Halloween weekend, and everybody was going to go to the Waffle House after work, normal. And I closed the bar up, and I'm talking to the waitresses that are cleaning up, and it's closed. I'm like, I think I talked too much shit to go because I don't like, I'm not trying to do anything. But they told me I was fine, and I got in the truck with him, and he was fine. Like, I made that very clear before we left. We're hanging out. We're going to go eat, laugh. So we go to leave. It's 5 a.m. The bars here close at 4. And I got in his truck. I had only drank, not much, but I don't want to drive. So we're going to go down to the Waffle House, a couple blocks, eat, and I'm going to be perfectly fine. So we get in the car, and we go to leave. And he's like, oh, it's going to be busy. We'll go to my house. It's close. It wasn't close. But whatever. He was nice, right? I'm a safety queen. Sharks and pools. I'm very safe. So like I had no red flags. And the girls were like, he's fine. They know him longer than me. He's like, I'll just cook you some breakfast. We'll hang out. Go back. Cool. And I beat myself up for this a lot. We go back to his house and he cooked. And we had a couple more shots. And he was very upset that I didn't eat the food. Right? That's a red flag. When he was behind me, like he just kept being behind me a lot. And he asked if I wanted to take a shower. Oh, another red flag. Like, and I'm older and experienced. Like, I can giggle it off, right? I'm like, no, why am I going to take a shower? I'm going home to my kids in 20 now, you know? Like that. I took a big old bite of my food because he was irritated. And I think that's when, like, it wasn't the drink, it was the food. So he walked me down this hallway. His house wasn't big, but to me at the time, it felt like a hallway that went on forever. It was the biggest hallway I'd ever seen because I had to hold the wall. I leaned in this room for him to show me something. He said, we should make a movie. And I giggled nervously. I was like, oh, sir, no, thank you. It's not really my cup of tea. And then really like the next thing, I woke up driving in Sunday church traffic 8 hours later, wet, because I remember him telling me after to take a shower. And I said no, and he said, oh, but honey, you want to. I didn't have panties on. Like, it was a lot. Just like, I don't drive. Like noon on Sunday, and I got out of there at 5 a.m. I remember him telling me to call my kids, message them, and tell them I was going to be late. And I remember trying to fight a little, like at the time, but it really is an out of body experience. You can't, like, people that don't know. I remember seeing myself. My arms were very sore the next day. And you know when you've had sex, you feel different. And I knew that it happened, but I didn't remember anything. Nothing. It took me 2 weeks to put it all together. There's a lot of denial. And a lot of there's no way. There's no way. But I wouldn't do that. It took like 2 weeks to put it all together and to really break down. It was December 15th. So October 28th to December 15th. It's a lot of dates. Like, but yeah. And what do you do? You do, like, keep trying to be normal. But for me, it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal for the girls that worked for me and the girls that I knew that had been in the industry. It was, oh, that sucks. What do you want to eat tomorrow? We go to lunch. Like, what? Like, yeah, well, that happened to me 5 times. What? When you all are okay? It's not okay. And that was terrible. It was the worst. So I quit my job. I walked out because he messaged me on December 15th and said that he was on his way to come see me, and he knew who I was. because I had messaged him during like my big breakdown, which is like the 12th of December, and I'd gone to my daughter's winter performance for her school, and all of a sudden I looked around, and it's just men that I'm surrounded by, which was not unusual, but when I subconsciously, I don't know, I panicked and I had to leave. That's really when I went back. I quit my job a couple of days later. Uh, that was all over the place. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry, Whitney, at all.
Oh, there's so much. There's so much to talk about with it, and it's so little that I actually remember.
Right.
I felt crazy, like I made it up. Like I've never been like that. And then what do you do? Who do you tell? We don't call the police in the adult world. The girls don't do that. You just didn't see it. It didn't happen. How do you function? My job is literally to talk shit to men, make them have a great time, and go on. And I can't do that now. And I had no support. The friends I had, it just wasn't a big deal to them. And these are people I've known since I was 18. It wasn't a big deal to you. Great. You know me. You know who I am. And how could you think it wouldn't be a big deal to me? And I would just be okay. That includes like my boss at the time who owned the place. I'd worked for him since I was barely 18.
Whitney, how many years ago did this happen?
It was October 28th of 2023, which was another hard thing because I've been in the industry. I was not a statistic, you know?
Yeah.
I made it. I was the one who made it out. It's sad, but there's not a lot of underdog stories in that world. Women that come out okay on the other side. But I was. And then I wasn't. And I felt very dumb because I was so experienced and I knew better.
At that point in time, how many years had you been in the industry?
Since 18 to 28, pretty much, like a decade. And I took some years off, raised my kids. My kids got old enough to be able to stay home by themselves and not have to worry about that because I never wanted to leave them with babysitters. And I got the opportunity to run it. And I really had planned on making like a big name for myself. There's good girls that work there. I was a good girl. My friends were good girls, and they don't have a lot of safe places to work. And that's what I wanted to do. And that was hard. Yeah. I know it's like there's good girls to do it, bottom line. And like we call it the vanilla world, like the 9 to 5 world. They brought upon us. And there's nobody that wants to help us. That was a big thing. And why don't you call the police? We don't do that. He is a late 30s construction company owner with a big name. And I am a khaki sex industry worker. Who are they going to believe? I'm just going to embarrass myself. Probably get arrested for something that has nothing to do with it. And it'll be terrible. I'm not going to call the police, but then there's no resources. There's nothing to help. And not just me, like nobody reports it. Nobody reports it.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. Who are the police going to believe, right?
Yeah. You were in a patent leather cat costume and work where you work. Of course, shouldn't have even done that. And I know I shouldn't have. I never did that before. I didn't go out with customers, but it just happened that night for a greater cause. That's what I tell myself. Then I had enough money to live on for a while. I obviously lost all my friends. because one girl, she told me that it happened and there's nothing I could do about it, so I just might as well get over it. Who says that? Like, to me, I would never act like that. Even to my worst enemy, I would never just be so, like, no big deal about it. Ever. It happens a lot. And I knew that I didn't know what to do or say, but I would never be mean or rude. I might not have any good advice, but I'll listen and be kind. And that wasn't the case, even for like people I know for 20 plus years. Literally nobody. And I finally, like, I had to call my kid's dad, and I think he thought I was like kidding. And I ended up having to go into like explicit detail. Finally, like, he came through and he saved me during that time. He got me to my trauma therapy, got me to my therapist, and did his thing. It was rough. And then I ended up having to go back to work there, which is crazy, I know. But I was on the verge of losing my apartment, everything. And so I weighed out the pros and cons, and I thought I could get everything back in like not that long a time, which was false. The money was terrible. It had gone really downhill. And then I quit in March for the last time because the guy came back in. And I'll never go back. Nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Blows my mind.
That was this past March?
Yeah. Yeah. I just started a job, which fortunately I have a good boyfriend, and he told me to just heal. Told me to heal. So that's what I've been doing, which I thought I was doing a very good job at. Earlier, I was running a sub shop, working 9,000 hours and healing. My kids ended up leaving because PTSD is the equivalent of being like abusive. The kids left me, and the time froze, and I didn't do anything. I was working on some photography stuff, like this whole healing cause that I have now for the women. So I had this. It was boudoir for women to take back your power and feel comfortable, and for trauma, not just sexual assault, but like whatever trauma, domestic violence, to make you more empowered. And I finished my website, was doing it, and my son, he took care of me a lot during like the nightmares and all that. He was there. He took care of his little sister. It was bad. It was really bad for me. Some women are more strong, I guess. People who are strong, but I had to grieve myself, who I was. And that was hard. And I had to ask their dad for help. Like, I told him I couldn't take care of them right now. I couldn't take care of myself. And he told me that I needed them, that it was good for me. And I tried. And I thought I was doing good, but my son, it was a lot for him. Him and his sister left me in November. I guess is it like trauma or grief? It's like the gift that keeps on giving. You know, like just when you think you're better, something happens. And when they left, that was like rock bottom. And I wasn't a good mom, but it's a learning experience. I'm sorry.
Whitney, you have nothing to be sorry for. This is really hard. How did you find the podcast?
For me, it was comforting to hear other stories, women talking about it, because then I felt not as crazy. Other people are like, did that happen? Did that not happen? Oh, it definitely happened. Other people have lost everything. There's other people out there like me. It was really just Googling podcast sexual assault survivors. Like, who else has lived my story? And then I found you, and it was very comforting. It's crazy, right?
Crazy and not crazy at the same time, because you reaching out to me is a sign of intense strength. Obviously, like you said, that you were getting something from listening to the show and listening to other victims and survivors who question their own validity, their own lives and sanity. How did I get through this? And am I getting through this? And did this really happen? All of those questions that you've asked just in the short time you've been talking about what happened. But once you did hear that, you took the initiative to text me. And I could tell from reading that text that you were very apprehensive and nervous about reaching out, but I have to hand it to you. You're very strong, and I appreciate you. What was your thought process when you decided to contact me and possibly be a guest on this show?
It's not talked about enough, obviously. And there's somebody that will hear my story and feel normal. Whatever normal is, it'll make them feel okay, like they're not crazy, because I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
And I have to make something good come from it. If nothing good comes from it, then it's for nothing. And that trauma can't be for nothing. It has to be a bigger purpose, right?
Well, not only do I commend you for reaching out to me and for being here today, but I also commend you for doing it in the sense that you are the first guest I've ever had that has come from the adult sex industry. It's part of why I wanted you to be here, because number one, you initiated the contact with me. You're the one who said, I want to tell my story. And I think this is a powerful episode, a hallmark for what this show is all about. I want anyone who's been raped or sexually assaulted to feel comfortable, to feel safe, and to feel listened to.
I feel heard. And it's real. It's real. But it's not, nobody will talk about it there.
I'm going to guess you know lots of women and maybe even some men who've been through this. And I just want to encourage anyone that's listening right now and anyone that you know, Whitney, that you think might have the strength to do what you're doing, that want to come on this show, to reach out to me. And let's have a conversation about that possibility, just like you and I did.
It's a big thing that I want to help. It's a big cause for me.
I want to put it out there just in case there's anybody in my audience that thinks that I really pushed you to be here. That's
No.
not the case, right? Can you talk
Right,
about that?
right.
That this was your choice and that you're the one who initiated this. And we've talked before. We had what I call a vetting phone call. We talked before we did this recording because it's important for me to make sure that whoever is on this show isn't going to come away from this experience worse off than they were before they recorded their episode, but absolutely better off. Talk to my audience about what you're feeling right now about doing this.
A bit nervous. I know it happens. I know it happens more frequently because nobody cares. There's not support. And I know you're a man, and I talk poorly about men, but it's not like men like you. It's the industry that is run by the men that know that it happens and that don't help and don't care or initiate it. It shouldn't happen to anyone, period. There's good girls there in the adult world, and nobody listens, and they die. They get that on drugs. And I get it now. It was the first time ever in my life I could see why people do hard drugs. If it could make me forget, yeah, I get it now. There's just no help. I went to therapy, my regular therapist, once a week, and trauma therapy once a week for a long time, till my money ran out, because it's expensive. And I am still on the waiting list for the Women's Center that's free. We're coming on 2 years. And I'm strong, but there's women that aren't as strong. And where are they now with no help? Where are they? Because it's just, there's nothing there. That's what I want to do. I want to build a house for the women with no support who have to take care of their kids. You can't heal when you have to worry about your electric bill and going back to work. Around there, like, I didn't even leave my house for 3 months at all. I still can't go in a grocery store without my earbuds in. It changes you. and maybe I can help people. That was a lot. Sorry.
No, I appreciate it. I know my audience appreciates it. You hit the nail on the head. There are a lot of people who are going to hear this and that are going to relate to it and who are going to look at you as someone who's extremely strong and courageous and brave to do what you're doing.
I hope so.
I want to go back because of something you said, that when you were running that club, you wanted to make it a safe space for your girls. Tell me what that means to you. What types of things were you doing to facilitate making it a safe place for your employees?
Okay, the adult world, it's a fantasy. It's a party. The girls are the fun, life of the party fun. They're the ones that make everybody laugh and have a great time, but you can't touch them. What did Chris Rock used to say? There's no sex in the champagne room. I'm not going to touch them. You're not going to follow them. Like, I'm going to make sure they get to their car safe. They go home safe. One girl that worked for me, she went to Vegas with another girl and her boyfriend, and they were leaving her there. So I'll fly you back home. You're not going to get left there. You're a good girl. You got kids at home. They were safe. They didn't have to worry about me. Sexual harassment's a big thing there, you know, but it's normal. It's normal for your boss to slap your butt or whatever. Like, that's normal, but not with me. It was safe. That's what I wanted.
And I'm guessing, listening to what you're saying and describing the fact that they were safe, you had a relationship with those girls and you were open with them. Can you talk about that and how that worked for you?
I love them. Nobody wakes up and is like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be a stripper. I was hungry. You know, I was literally hungry. And that's why I started. And homeless. And everybody has a story why they go there.
Right.
And it's easy to get sucked in and wrapped up. And you are always worried. And when I was younger, I know there was guys that worked there that did bad things to the girls. And like I said, I'm 18. I don't know what to do. Like, are you okay? I mean, I was a kid. I didn't want that to happen to my girls. And, you know, there's no way. You lead by example, right?
And when your girls, if they did come to you with a problem of a customer who was too aggressive, reaching out, trying to touch, trying to do things, talk to me about what your response to their complaints to you was if a girl came to you and said, this is happening.
That's not acceptable. They have to go. Younger me would have beat them up. But I mean, responsible, in charge me. They have to go. They can't come back in. Not okay. Are you okay? Do you need to go home? I'll make sure you get home okay. Not happening. The young girls, we're not drinking, drugging, like, you all are safe. We're good. I'm going to carry your drink to the table so no guy touches it. I wanted them to be safe and good. And they were.
And did you develop a relationship with some of these girls that went beyond just an employer-employee relationship?
Oh, yeah. We decorated for Halloween and Christmas, and we closed the club down for Sunday night and just come in there in our pajamas. And they could bring their kids, and we had donuts. And I loved them because that was my home. Literally the same building I grew up in. And the owner then, he was a decent guy. He wouldn't let things happen. And I wanted to be like that too, but better. I've traveled and been around and seen the best of the best clubs and the worst of the worst. And I knew what to do to make it good. And that was hard too, because I felt like I just messed it up myself because I knew better than to leave with them. I knew so much better than to do that.
And it sounds like you're still beating yourself up about that.
It cost me everything. And I did know better. I would never do that. I don't even know why I did. I felt safe, I guess. But it cost me everything. When I went back, the club was completely different. And that was only a year later. Completely different. It was bad. So all those girls lost that safety. I had a big name in the industry. I tarnished that.
But Whitney, you know that's not your fault, right? I mean,
I do.
You aren't the bad guy here. The perpetrator is. What that guy did to you, betraying your trust, lying to you, basically kidnapping you because he took you someplace different than you had agreed to go. That's kidnapping.
Yeah.
And then he raped you, drugged you to do that.
And I'm pretty sure videotaped it.
Yeah. None of that's your fault. It's the same thing you would tell your employee, a girl that came to you with this story. You would have told them that's not your fault.
Yeah. So now we just have to make it better.
And what's the plan? What are your goals with this episode and with what's going to happen after this airs?
Well, I am starting school in a couple of weeks for a peer support specialist, which then I can graduate to rape crisis advocate, I think is what it's called. I do a lot of photography. The long-term goal is to shoot an important series about these women and build a house where they can come with their kids and heal without having to have a police report. You don't even have to just come get better. Let's close out your lease, whatever you got going on, bring your babies, and just get better. That is my goal.
I love that. What a goal. What a vision.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Like I said, something good has to come from it. It has to be worth it.
I want that to happen for you. I want this episode to be a catalyst to helping make that happen, because people need to hear your story. People need to know who you are and how strong you are and how you want to use what happened to you as a method of healing, of looking at this in a way that can help others.
Nobody should have to heal alone. That is very difficult with no one.
Yeah.
And so I want to be those people, someone.
Yeah. You know, when you've told a story like this, and maybe you've heard me talk this way about these things, and that is after we are done talking and we hang up and you've got the rest of your evening ahead of you, you've got all day tomorrow and the next day and the next day and several weeks and months ahead looking back on this experience, there are going to be some what are called explicit memories that you know happened, that you do remember. And then there's going to be implicit memories that are in your brain that you had never realized they were there until they were activated by telling your story on this show. How are you going to take care of yourself when we're done talking this evening and for the next several days, weeks, and months ahead? When those trauma memories are activated, what do you do to take care of Whitney?
I'm fortunate enough to be able to lay in my bed the days that I think I can't get out and to get up and take over the world on the days that I can. I do a lot of yoga, a lot of photography is really big, and I hike a lot. It's been too hot recently, but the hiking and nature is where I go get grounded and figure out the next step. Public speaking is my big thing for this year. Because but how can you help people if you can't talk?
That's
so
absolutely correct. It's why this show exists, and it helps me get the message out there that we need to normalize the conversation.
Which is hard.
Yeah, it is.
People get very uncomfortable with it. Things that you expect people, the ways you expect them to act is not really how they act, which is very hard for me. There's not a lot of compassion there.
Picture yourself an hour from now or 2 hours from now. What will you be doing?
Probably in my kitchen baking cookies and washing dishes. Probably calling my mom being like, I did it. I talked to her right before the show and I was already emotional when I talked to her and I was like, oh, we probably shouldn't have done this.
Let me ask you now, are you glad that we've recorded this? Or do you really wish maybe I don't want this going out?
No, I am glad we recorded it. I want to help. I want to help. No, I don't want anyone to ever feel the way that I did. So no, I'm proud of myself for doing it. I thought I was going to chicken out like 80 times today. Yeah, I'm proud and I feel like it's my first step in the big picture. Yeah. Talking about your story is the first step. Thank you for that.
Thank you. This has been amazing for me to sit here with you. actually wish I could just reach through the screen and hold your hand, because it looks like that's what you could use, is somebody to just hold your hand right now.
Been me against the world. Yeah.
Whitney, you're amazing. You are strong. You really are. You just said it. The fact that you wanted to back out of this 80 times before we started and didn't is a testament to how strong you are. And I hope you recognize that. I hope you realize that. And I hope you pat yourself on the back and say, wow, Whitney, you're stronger than I thought you were.
My therapist is going to love it. She's going to be so proud. I didn't even tell her yet.
And all you have to do is text her or email her a copy of this recording once it comes out. Say, look what I did.
Yeah, I would have never thought I would be here even a year ago. It's a forever journey, that's for sure. A forever healing journey, and I knew that.
My question then that you just sparked is, where are you going to be a year from now? And would you be willing to come back on the show? Bring us up to date on how things have gone for you.
Yes, I would. And hopefully a year from now, I'll have my little certificates, degrees, whatever, and be helping more people, getting closer to building my house.
Yeah. And I hope there's listeners who hear this who actually want to reach out and help you with that. I've mentioned this to several of my guests, that it's not unusual for my guests to reach out to each other and form a support community among my sex assault survivor stories guests.
It's a bond.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate bond, but it's good too, I think.
It's a brotherhood and a sisterhood that you would hope nobody ever has to join. But that since you are there, that it's
thankful.
It's good that it's available. Yeah, thankful that there are people who want to support you, who want to reach out and help you.
And who understand. That's the thing. That was a big thing for me, is who could possibly understand what I'm feeling and what I went through. And then we have the podcast.
Whitney, thank you so very much for doing this with me, for being here today.
Thank you for accepting me. That was the thing with the situation, the adult world. Nobody really talk about that.
You're the first, as I mentioned, who comes from that background to be on this show. And I hope it's the start of many more who will reach out and say, hey, if Whitney can do it, I can do it. My story needs to be told. You're a trailblazer. Way to go.
Who would have thunk it? I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be in touch. That does it for another episode of Sexual Assault Survivor Stories, the SAS podcast. As we close out this incredibly important show, I want to extend my deepest thanks to Whitney Vergés for her remarkable courage and strength in sharing her experience. I know it wasn't easy, Whitney, especially considering the hesitation and fears that you faced about judgment. But your willingness to open up and speak your truth will resonate with all my listeners. Your story, both powerful and raw, is one that breaks barriers and shatters stigmas, especially as the first sex industry worker to share your experience on this show. I have no doubt that your vulnerability and bravery will inspire countless others who have felt isolated or silenced by shame. Whitney, I also want to acknowledge the incredible work you're doing outside of this podcast. Your goal to open a shelter home for victims and survivors of sexual assault speaks volumes to your commitment to healing and creating a safe space for others. And for that, you have my deepest respect and admiration. Thank you for being here today and for all the work you continue to do to make a difference. And your story will have a lasting imprint on everyone who listens. And to you, my SAS listeners, I'm also glad and thankful that you tuned in and that you're helping this podcast grow. Truly, I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Don't forget to tune in next week when I'll be bringing you another brave survivor with their story of strength. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. And remember to start by believing when anyone tells you their story of being raped or sexually assaulted, because we all know someone whose life has been impacted by rape or sexual assault. We'll see you next week.